Hello, church family. It's 2 Minute Tuesday. I recently read a series of interviews with people who have dated social media influencers. You know, those people who spend all their time producing 10-minute videos for YouTube or 10-second videos for TikTok. Anyway, it turns out they're real people with personal lives. And here are some of the things that the people who date them say about them. They say things like, their online persona isn't who they really are, or they don't look like that in real life, or they don't feel good about themselves until they get 1 million views. Now, this last one is worth paying attention to. We have to ask, what kind of person has such a bottomless appetite for affirmation that they need literally 1 million people to like them? Well, it turns out that's every person. We all have an insatiable need for acceptance. And that's because in the beginning, when we fell into sin, we gave up God's love. We gave up the love for which we were made, and we believed a lie. We believed the lie that we could no longer be acceptable to God. And so we've spent our history, we spend our lives just trying to prove to ourselves that we're acceptable to someone, anyone. This past Sunday in church, we looked at the story of Cornelius. Cornelius was a Roman centurion living in a Jewish city, which means that to his neighbors, Cornelius was the farthest person from God, the last person on earth God would accept. And yet the Lord comes to Cornelius and says, Cornelius, I see you, and you are acceptable to me. Now, at the same time that the Lord's having this conversation with Cornelius, he's having a conversation with the Apostle Peter in which he says, Peter, don't call impure what I have made clean. Jesus, of course, is talking about Cornelius and every other unacceptable person in the world, including you and me. So how does Jesus take the impure, the unacceptable, and make us clean? The author of Hebrews spells it out for us. He says, the blood of Christ cleanses our consciences from acts that lead to death. He says, we have been made holy through the sacrifice of the body of Jesus Christ once for all. He says, for the joy set before him, Jesus endured the cross, scorning its shame. Finally, we're told, Jesus is not ashamed to call you and me brothers and sisters. At the cross, Jesus made himself unacceptable in our place so that we could be perfectly, permanently accepted by God. You don't need 1 million likes to feel good about yourself. You're loved by God, the one whose love for which you were made, and you are accepted by the only one whose opinion truly matters in the end.